to do for this next year and how they plan for the annual meeting coming up.
Mm-hmm. And once again, we are your hosts. I'm Sonia.
I'm Aslea.
Nice to see you guys.
You can see us.
Oh yeah, we can't see you, but.
All right, so the first person we'll be interviewing is Chris. Would you like to do your introduction?
Sure. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time. My name is Chris Kinsley. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Standifer Allottees Association.
Okay. So what does your typical day look like?
Typical day, for the most part, my position has been to try to create a better communication with the Allottees. So for the most part, trying to update the social media, with the events that we do have. They are kind of few and far between, but we try to upkeep the communication with the Allottees. So whether it's emails, social media, primarily social media, because for us, we are a nonprofit. It's free, so it's free advertising for us.
Okay. And then I mentioned that the annual meeting's coming up. So what does your schedule look like preparing for that?
So for that, today is October 22nd. We're trying to get out a save the date mailer. Just try and get the date out there so people are aware that it is coming up. We are having board elections this year again, so we want to put that in people's mind frame that, hey, be on the lookout. The elections are coming up again.
Okay.
So, but as far as like preparing for that, the mailer, try to get posters out. Same thing as well as social media. So.
Okay. And then are there any other projects outside of the annual meeting that you're working on?
I've been trying to update the website, trying to give a new look, new feel for the website. I don't know how long it's been the way it is, but I'm just trying to keep it more contemporary, update it. We've had some staff changes within the past year or so, so just trying to make the public aware of who the new faces are.
Okay. And is there anything you look forward to or want to accomplish in the next year?
One of the biggest things that I worked on within the past couple months was updating our contact list, mailing. It'd be ideal for me within the next year to be able to have a better way of communicating with people, because we can do emails, we can do text messages, so it'd be a lot easier to be able to communicate with that, especially by saving postage and saving paper. So that's my biggest goal.
Okay, nice. And then last question, are you an Allottee?
I am not an Allottee.
No.
I am not even a district member of Standifer. Right?
Tell the camera.
But I'm glad to be here.
That's good.
Glad to work for the people.
We appreciate your help. All those flyers and colorful flyers we see on the website.
Awesome.
That's this guy. This guy. All right. That's an applause.
Was that the applause track? Yeah. All right, cool. Makes sense.
All right. So you can wave goodbye to the camera. Say bye to your audience on the audio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next interview is with Ben. Would you like to introduce yourself? Sorry.
Hello, my name is Ben Standifer. I'm the executive director of the San Xavier Allottees Association.
Okay. And are you an Allottee?
No, I am not, but I am from Sales District, Sales Community here on the Tohono Nation.
Okay. So as an executive director, can you tell us what you do here?
The role of the executive director is to oversee the day-to-day activities of the association when it comes to managing the day-to-day affairs, the finance, the programs, services, any issues that may come up, good or bad. It's basically to, again, manage the day-to-day. I have a board of directors that oversee me or supervise me that I actually work with very well. They're very instrumental in setting and establishing the strategic direction of the association, and it's my responsibility as executive director to carry that forward.
Okay. And so what are your next goals for this next year that the Allottees should know about?
Wow, that's a great question, because unlike any other year, other than the first year that I was here, it's going to be one that I see as being probably the most challenging, but the most, I guess you say, transformational fiscal year that's ahead of us. primarily, the Allottee Association has been dependent on a fund that was established through a settlement that was won several years ago, 2004 to be exact. And over the course of those years, that settlement is dwindling down. And so our dependency is one that we actually have to start seeking alternative funds or revenue sources. And so when I was brought in 4 years ago, September 8th of 2020 to be exact, that was one of the goals, or actually the major goal, was to get us from being a dependent entity as a nonprofit to becoming a revenue generating entity as a nonprofit, by establishing businesses and other services that we could charge for service fees for, and accumulate the revenue to go towards the programming, from the programs that you guys do to paying the salaries of staff and other activities that we carry out here. But in all actuality, this is the year that we really have to put that best foot forward, because the board has decided we're no longer going to seek that particular fund to be our primary source of revenue. They want to start moving forward in another direction that has us more to be independent of that revenue. It'll still be there for our use and we will still utilize it, but it won't be our primary source. So you'll see the association building, growing. We'll be establishing more businesses, a holding company, several things that will allow us to go out there and compete in the world of creating revenue for the allottees, which for us means better programming, better opportunities to work with allottees, businesses, other members of the community that exist outside of the reservation, but also utilizing the reservation and its sovereignty status as part of our programming that's going to assist us in helping us reach many of our goals.
Okay. And so, since you've been here, what has been your biggest challenge you've faced as an executive director?
I would probably say it's getting everybody on the same page. And what I mean by that is, everybody kind of has, well, it's like a football team. You have some people that know what the quarterback is doing, somebody that knows what the front line is doing, some people that may only know what the defense is doing, but yet you pull everybody in a room together and you ask them the one question: what must this team do to win? And everybody has their own opinion about how to achieve that. But what they don't have is the actual the statistics, the book of information that lets me know as an executive director what works, what doesn't work, what's the better pathway that we can take in order for us to go forward. And so trying to get everybody on the same page, including our board. When we first started, the board actually, even though I was brought on with the thought that, yes, you're going to provide this as our next pathway, there were several board members that were against that. They felt that we should only do that and no more than that, because our funding would disallow us to do that, which I get and I understand. But, it's like someone told me a long time ago, you can't do a quick turn. Like you see those big 18-wheelers going down the highway. Those trucks take a long time for it to make a U-turn. They have to actually chart their way out, make sure there's enough room, turn way out one way and turn the other way. So it's something that just can't be done if you're like in a little small box car or something like that, where you can just whip it around and keep going. That's what it is. We're an organization, although we're a small nonprofit, but we're still a very large organization that does a lot for our allottees. And to get it to go in another direction takes time. I wasn't necessarily ready for that. So the first 3 years I spent was preparing that roadway, putting the infrastructure in place to make sure that when we make the road change or when we go the different direction, we're going to be able to get there and successfully, because that's one of the things that I want to make sure of and ensure of is that whatever we do, it's going to be done successfully. So it takes time. It takes putting everybody on the same page. I mean, even for our allottees, many of them may have looked at, well, this way might be too difficult, or it may be too, litigious, or just very difficult for us to manage, and maybe we should go a different way, or a quicker or faster way. And that's not always the best way of doing things. So the time that it takes to prepare and get to where we need to be, which I feel very strongly we're there. And so we are now taking that best step forward. But it really becomes a challenge just to get everybody on the same page. So I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges. But I can safely say that not 100% all on the same page, but definitely the majority is there on the same page, so that we can move forward, and we will make this change and this transition successful.
And so we recently had the semi-annual conference. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit about it and what they should expect in this next annual conference?
Certainly. There's 2 conferences that we do every year, the association does every year, that's mandated by our bylaws. Our bylaws state that in every January, and it says second Saturday in January, we have to have an annual meeting. It is even specific to the location of that, which is 2018 Standifer Drive, which of course is where the district office is. But point in saying is that when the authors of the bylaws, the founders of the association, put this together, it was very important to them that these meetings be held here in Standifer, and we wanted to make sure that we do that, or at least in close proximity. So the annual meeting is a business meeting, as is the semi-annual meeting. It's the 2 times a year that we meet with allottees and we discuss the business of it. At the same time, we're using it as an opportunity to educate our allottees. So quite often we bring individuals in that are teaching our allottees about estate planning, about the necessity of wills, but we're also talking about economic development. We're also talking about investing and things of that nature, so that they can have a better understanding. As an allottee, they have a stake in the association, which functions as a nonprofit, but now is getting ready to function as a for-profit business. So we want them to know and understand the differences between a balance sheet and a cash sheet, or what am I thinking? A profit and loss sheet versus a balance sheet, for instance. So, because that's how they're going to be able to understand whether or not these businesses are being successful. We just don't want them to see the bottom line and say, okay, well, this is good or this is not good, because that doesn't always give you, they always say the devil's in the details, and that certainly won't give you the details. So we use that, again, as an education tool, but the reality is that the necessity of that, I'm using the word necessity too much. The reality behind it is that we want to use it first as a business meeting, so that we could convey anything that is relevant to our allottees that they have to know and understand about. So of course, the one in the one that we did, the semi-annual, which is generally done during the summer months, we did it in, where did we do that one? We did it in Standifer, and then we talked a lot about the transition of going from being a nonprofit to where we're going to be a for-profit. And so that becomes necessary for us to talk about how we got that way. Sorry, attorney calling, sorry, Tom. So it's very important for us to talk about and discuss how we got there. And unfortunately, that's not always a good topic, but we had to broker that conversation with our allottees, and they understood. And the reason why I can say they understood is because when it came down to our budget, the budget went in front of the community for a final vote, and it was the community that says, yes, you guys can pass it on. So I feel without that meeting, without having the allottees on the same page, we would not have had that outcome, and it would have been way different, and we would have been in a very different situation today. But we're not. We're in a very positive situation, and we certainly have an optimistic outlook coming from that meeting that we had as a semi-annual in August. Sorry.
What's one piece of advice you would share with every allottee?
Wow. I think I share this with a lot, but the staff and board hear this a lot, and I don't know if it's advice, but I guess it is advice in a sense. The hardest thing it was for me to wrap my head around this job, this position that I'm doing, is when we have to bury now not we as the Allottee Association, but when a fellow allottee passes away homeless. I don't understand that, because anywhere in this world, if you own land, you are asset rich. You have something of value that you can use to trade for services or food or for something. But for an allottee to have access to that asset but still not have a home. Now, granted, I get, people will say, well, they're on drugs or they're alcoholics and all this. Still, it shouldn't be, we shouldn't live in a society where landowners simply don't have the right to a home. So my advice is, if you are an allottee, don't disvalue being an allottee, meaning don't accept it as it's just something that I am or it's something that I have access to. That's real capital. That's something big that you should think about. And as a family, you guys should be planning on it, utilizing it. It should be very, very key to your existence, because it's just not a piece of paper. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that our forefathers fought for. And that could be legally in the court systems, or it can be literally out there in the heat of the battle, the fields, all of that stuff where, the Western culture was trying to take it away from us, and we were fighting for it to get it back. So it's something that should be of value and not disvalue, because I think the attention to these meetings, to the association, if people really understood the value of being an allottee or your allotment, they would be paying a lot more attention to us and to these meetings and to the work that we're doing, because it means something. And the fact that we're fighting against so much and so hard really says that it's something worth fighting for. If it wasn't worth fighting for, everybody will come to work and it'll just be an easy, breezy day. And it's not that way. We come to work every day and we are fighting for something or against something. And that's because people want the land. They want the resources that are tied to the land. And as an allottee, you not only own the land, you own the resources that are under it. That includes minerals. It includes water. So that means a lot. And to me, the allottees should know that. They should welcome that understanding and really try to do something with it. And throughout the generations, rather than us talk about fractionation, which is something that degrades allotment, we should be talking more about multiplication, something that multiplies the wealth of a society of allottees, such as what we have here. We just haven't quite brokered that thought yet. But to me, I think that's something certainly we're on the cusp of bringing forward and making sure our allottees have a better understanding of this and the necessity of having this mindset. So if it's advice, I certainly feel that would be the advice. But certainly there's a lot to come forward going into the new year. A lot of programs that we're going to be starting up that's going to bring more capital to business owners that are here. homeowners, grants that we're going to be participating in that are give a lot of more opportunity to allottees. So just a lot of great things that I see because the foundation has been laid, the infrastructure is there. It's just now ready to start planting our seeds and getting this thing up and going. So I'm really happy. And this program is a result of that. And I thank both of you ladies, Sonia especially, for taking on this task of doing this, because it's not only going to be informative to our youth, but in one of our last meetings, they were like, well, can elders listen to it too? We're like, of course. I mean, it's not, you check a box if you're over 18, you can't listen to it or nothing like that. Yes, listen to it, and I think you'll find value in it. And so I think we're going to increase our listenership, or people who want to hear and see this podcast, for what it is and the information that we provide. And even more so that, we really are trying to get them to understand the necessary mindset we all have to have. Because we're not, what people say or think we are. We're more than that. And I am a true believer in the more than. And so I certainly appreciate, because you guys, what you do is more than what you have to do, and it certainly shows. So I want to continue to see this work. I want to continue to see you guys grow. When you go off to South America, I've urged Sonia to talk about, let's keep her on and let her do the podcast from wherever she goes and do it, because it's only going to open up more doors for us to see, and places we can go without having to buy a ticket and do it. We can do it through your eyes and through your words, and I think that brings value to it. But it's just the time and effort that you guys put into doing what you do that really makes a difference, and I think that's why our listeners are listening in for what you guys are bringing to the table. So I really, really appreciate the work and time and effort and energy that you guys put into this.
Thank you. I really can't say it. Okay, that's all the questions we had. So you can say bye to the camera.
Bye, camera.
Bye.
For our next staff member, we have Journey here with us. Do you want to start with your introduction?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, my name is Journey Garcia. I'm 22. I've been here at the Allottees Association for about over a year. And yeah, I'm pretty much just made my way to where I am now. I started as like a temporary position, and then I just eventually wanted to help more and more. So now I'm here.
Mm-hmm. And are you an Allottee?
A future Allottee, yes.
Future?
Yes.
Nice. So do you think you're prepared to be an Allottee, or do you think you still need some work?
I maybe need some more education on like a lot of things, honestly. But
Mm-hmm.
like I have like a good head where I am now, I guess. I should say that. Yeah.
That's good. So what is your position here at the association, and what is your typical day? What does your typical day usually look like?
I'm a receptionist, and so first come in, usually there's always somebody here before me. I try to get here. But yeah, so just, check emails, see if we have any missed calls, check the mail, get it into the log, and, just help out around the office as much as I can. Like even everybody like with their copies and like scanning, if they need help with the printer. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like basically what I do all day. Then just answer calls, transfer calls to everybody else here in the office. And even if I'm able to help out an Allottee who calls it, yeah, I'll do that too, if I'm able to.
Yeah. So as a receptionist, what does your schedule usually look like when we're preparing for like our annual or semi-annual meetings?
It's pretty busy. We were actually, when we were planning on having it at the community building, me and Janice were in charge of the catering. But now we're not having it there, so like it just kind of like got lifted off our hands, because like the casino Del Sol has a buffet, or like a buffet menu, so you just like pick and stuff. But like other than that, like like I said before, like I just help out where I can. If anybody else needs help with their duties, like I'll help out. But yeah, it's pretty busy, especially like the month of. I know that.
Yeah. The month of and the month before are
Mhm.
usually the busiest.
Yes.
And our last question is, what do you hope to accomplish, or what do you look forward to in the next year?
So I hope to accomplish that everybody, all the Allottees have like their updated information.
Yeah.
Because like we've been working on that for a while. So yeah, I just hope like everybody gets their information right, and like how there's a couple people that haven't been getting their our mail that we mail out. So like yeah, I'm like hoping to solve that problem as well. And then I don't know, I just hope that we, continue to do our jobs and, help Allottees out. So that's what we're here for. And yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay. Well, any last words?
No, not really.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Our next staff member is Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Sonia.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us if you are an Allottee or not?
My name's Ashley Lopez. I am the accounting specialist here at the Allottees office, and I am not an Allottee.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as the accounting specialist, what does your typical day usually look like?
A typical day for me is pretty slow. I'm either answering phone calls, replying to emails, or both. Sometimes I'm paying bills or recording transactions and filing, but for the most part, it's pretty slow. Like it's not like I'm not doing anything, but it's really slow. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're preparing for our annual and semi-annual meetings, what is like your schedule usually look like? Like the couple months before?
Pretty much the same as a typical day. There are some days where I'm making sure everyone gets their orders in so that they arrive on time. I'm sometimes making sure everything gets paid, or we make deposits on time. Other times I'll ask around if anybody needs help, or if they need me to go out shopping, get them their supplies, but that's pretty much what my schedule looks like.
Okay, so how did you get started like working here, and how was that like first experience?
Okay. I started out as an intern about 4 years ago. After I graduated high school, it was literally the closing date was like in one day, and I submitted my essay like the next day, and a couple days later they called me and said I got the position. So starting out, it was basically what like a receptionist does. And it was only supposed to be for a couple of months, but I believe the receptionist went on leave for a while, so I took over her position for a while until she came back, and that's when the accounting specialist went on her leave because she was dealing with some health issues. So they had a little like training for me, and it turned into being there for a year, and then going on 2 years, and then they decided like, okay, like we think you're fit for the position, like we want you to stay, like. So I agreed, and 2 years later, again, I'm sitting here. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, what do you hope to accomplish, or what do you look forward to in the next year?
I hope to have a smooth year. We are going to be working on a couple of new projects, I believe, like completing our FY24 budget audit pretty early, but I just hope everything has positive vibes, goes smoothly, and yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Any last words?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Our next staff member is Janice.